Hey Sagittarius, I hope you are doing well. I'm kind of sitting here trying to connect with some imagery that's coming up as I'm shuffling your cards. And something that just is super recurring is an airplane, which to me can represent not just like an actual physical journey somewhere, but also like a spiritual journey, an inward journey. And kind of concurrent with the imagery of the plane is the image of like a skull, which is, death, transformation. I don't know if you're undertaking a trip or a journey that may completely shift your perspective, offer like a chance to change your paradigm in some way, in some substantial way. It could be maybe some of you are actually going on a trip on account of an actual physical death, like traveling for a funeral or something. But something about the experience is transformative, and themes of death kind of surround it. And I don't see it as being something negative, so try not to linger on that interpretation too much. I feel like it's an opportunity to expand your boundaries, to maybe even break down the boundaries that you had imposed upon yourself previously, kind of traveling outside of the limits. I was also seeing like an elderly woman's face, so I don't know if this is like a call out to like maternal ancestry or something, but just kind of wanted to throw that in there. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Maybe connecting with crone energy, if you're going to the triple goddess archetype. Yeah, interesting imagery. And I think the cards are saying they're done. Stop shuffling. Alright, so our first card is going to be your significator. And we have the Seven of Pentacles. Interesting card. This is like a card of waiting, of having done the work, having planted the seeds, having, tilled the fields, pulled the weeds, watered the crops, and, gone through this entire process with them. And now you're just waiting for the final results of the work that you've put in, waiting for the fruit to ripen on the vine, so to speak. So I don't know if maybe this is representing you in a particular space of waiting. This can be a message to be patient if you're waiting to hear back about something, or this is a really weird analogy, but if you submitted a project, specifically I'm seeing like an art project, and I think this is just because this is kind of a familiar landscape for me, like submitting artwork to a print shop and you're waiting for the prints to be finished. The key word is like patience. Like there may be some delays potentially. I mean, we'll see with the rest of the reading what's coming up. But whatever the case may be, whatever the timeline is, you're going to receive your dues. Is kind of the underlying message of this card that I'm seeing. So the next card, we've got the Page of Pentacles, and I don't know if this represents you or if this represents maybe the energy around you, kind of experimenting and playing around with new financial opportunities. The reason I say financial is because Pentacles, it's the earth sign, so it's very tactile, very sensual, very fiscal type of energy. So the page is kind of like the apprentice of that, like learning to work with that energy, like maybe taking on a new job, and having to go through training and discovering the appropriate process within the workflow that's established already. I'm also looking at the flowers at the page's feet, and for whatever reason my mind is like transforming them into mushrooms, and I'm thinking about like this process of decay and like drawing nutrients from the decay, from death. Maybe that's like a connection to the skull crone energy that I was seeing as I was shuffling the cards. Like learning to recycle old influences, old establishments, and transforming them into something new, something that has youthful energy, like the page. Hey, we match. Sort of. Anyway, so the next card is going to be our challenge card. And we have the Empress. This is Venus. And since she's coming out like that, I'm going to say Venus is in Scorpio right now, which is the 12th sign from yours, Sagittarius. So it could potentially represent like a place of loss for you, like maybe being a little too indulgent, spending a little too much money on goods and items that, while maybe beautiful, may offer you sensual pleasure and enjoyment, like even just food or something. This can be a warning to be a little bit careful about that, because Venus would love to spend all the money that she's got on beautiful things and then keep spending money even though she has none, even leading to her own ruin. So there's nothing wrong with finding pleasure, finding enjoyment in the physical world, in the material world, as long as it's done with temperance, like being moderate, being careful, and trying to be logical about the decisions that you're making with your money, especially if you're embarking on a new endeavor. Like this could even be like a new business opportunity, new entrepreneurial opportunity. Just trying to make sure that you're keeping things in a secure budget. You can obviously leave a little room for wiggle. You can leave a little extra money aside for the fun stuff, but don't extend beyond the limits. So we've got, in the past position, we have Temperance. Interesting that came out after I used that keyword. I feel like the process of coming to this Page of Pentacles energy, whether it's a new job, new business, some sort of new project, it's been a long time coming. Like there's been an entire process of careful, diligent research, making sure that you have the money set aside to undertake the endeavor, or maybe even having gone to school to make sure that you have the experience for the job if you're taking on something new in that way. But it's like this was very careful preparation to arrive where you are presently. Interesting. I'm getting really fixated on the cups in the hand, and the image that I'm seeing in my head is like one cup being muddy water and the other cup being clear water, and they're just like mixing and pouring back and forth until I don't know, the process that's coming to mind is like a process of getting the silt and the mud out of the water, and I don't know how you would do that by mixing the waters, but it's like the more that it's mixed, the clearer and the cleaner the water becomes. So maybe just representing like a process of purification in some way, refinement, interesting. I'm hearing like striving towards excellence, like perfecting something. Just that process of working towards this ideal, this potentially Page of Pentacles is the ideal right now. But in the future, we have the Sun card. That's a pretty positive card for future, I think. Represents like a free, upwelling expression of pure energy, of optimism and hope and opportunity. With the Page of Pentacles, the way it's oriented, he's carrying this pentacle like it's the sun, like he's carrying the sun in a way. It's kind of how the imagery is playing out in my head. But it's like whatever this new opportunity, this new endeavor that the page is undertaking, like there's a lot of potential within it. Like it can become something really great, something that really shines, potentially outshines the competition, so to speak. You know, takes on a very high level position. And I don't know if that's what you're striving for, like maybe a position of authority. I mean, if you're in the process of starting your own business, I mean, obviously you're in the position of authority by default because it's your business, you've created it. But the sun energy is like, it's unimpeded, like it's without obstacle. The light shines on everything. The light reveals everything. The light nourishes and supports everything. It's like whatever this is, I feel like there's some pretty good momentum, some positive momentum behind it. And it really does have the chance to be something beautiful, something supportive, something positive, not just for you, but potentially for the people around you. So whatever it is, maybe keep at it. Like if this is the confirmation you needed to keep going, then keep going. Crowning your reading, we have the King of Cups. This card to me always calls to mind the concept of emotional stability. Since it's crowning the reading, it's something that you're kind of aiming for. It's your Polaris in a way. It's the ideal situation in your mind. So this King of Pentacles is very content within himself. You know, even in spite of the tumultuous waves in the background, he's on a very stable platform. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. He's not being swayed by the tides of emotions. He's very secure, very calm, very at peace, and potentially even, because I always think about the Queen of Cups and her being like the visionary, like looking into the cup and seeing the future in some way. Maybe he's kind of consulting with the Oracle in some way in order to kind of determine his sense of stability. It's not the way I wanted to word it, but it's like he's tapping into a deeper source, a deeper state of mind, a deeper state of being that is unchanging and unencumbered by the shifts and the changes that happen in day-to-day life. So, I mean, it makes sense that one would want to strive towards that, especially if you're undertaking a new endeavor. Like, you want to make sure that you're staying calm and steady and secure, and you're, you know, able to be content with where you are in the process as it's unfolding without being swayed one way or the other, not being too troubled by extremes, by emotional extremes or anxieties, that sort of thing. At the base of the reading, we have the Seven of Wands. And this is like something that's kind of motivating from the deeper recesses of your mind, from the subconscious. And immediately when I saw it was like the need to prove oneself. Like, I don't know if this, whatever it is that you're working towards, was something that other people had put down in the past or said that you weren't capable of doing. Or maybe they just didn't agree with your approach on things. They didn't agree with the ideas that you had about how things should be run or how things should look. And that's kind of spurring you forward. Like it's a chance to prove not only to them but to yourself that you can in fact do it the way that you wanted to do it. You can in fact manifest your dream exactly as it is without having to compromise or make adjustments that maybe these other people felt were necessary in order for you to have this thing. So it's like a need to defend your position, need to defend your creation, to defend your passions. But yeah, you are in like a position of power. You're in a position of authority, and you're walking the walk. You're doing the thing, and I feel like you're not too troubled by whatever these opposing views may have been in the past, or even, you know, that may still be there at the present time. For your inner influences, we have the Nine of Wands. If that'll focus, there we go. And this is the middle decan of Sagittarius. I haven't really been mentioning the decan so much in this reading, but middle decan of Sagittarius, so your own sign, but it's this energy of kind of like post-war energy, or like middle of the battle. Like you may have taken on some bruises, you may be battered and, maybe cut up a little bit as a result of the effort that you've been making to defend yourself, to defend your position, to defend your dream, to defend your process. But you still have access to like a vital energy that you're able to use to continue the fight if necessary. There's kind of this energy of you've put structure in place that acts as a defense against onslaught, so that you don't have to put in as much effort as you were doing in the past. It's a little bit easier for you to sit back, not that you're sitting back, but a little bit easier for you to not be actively engaged with opposition, because you already have a secure framework within which you're still working or building on what you've started, what you've begun. And I think your battle scars are informing you and providing a valuable experience for you, valuable perspective for you in moving forward with this. For your outer influences, we have the Page of Cups. We got 2 pages. Could be that somebody's approaching you with the opportunity to form a partnership. Doesn't have to be romantic, it can be professional. But it's like this person provides a necessary element to whatever this Page of Pentacles is working towards. With the Page of Pentacles being the earth and the Page of Cups being the water, you can understand how that interaction is, that union creates fertile ground for the crops to grow, so to speak. So this Page of Cups can maybe offer vision, maybe a little bit more color to the dreams that you're having, or the dreams that you're working towards, the world that you're working towards creating for yourself. And this Page of Cups kind of offers, I don't want to say depth, I'm trying to search for the right word. I said color already, but it's more than that. It's like elaboration upon the skeleton that you have that you're manifesting. Like your vision is like the skeleton, and the Page of Cups is like coming up with, within the skeleton we can put like this beautiful archway, and on the trim of the arches we can have these nice little geometric shapes, and climbing up this wall over here we can have moonflower or something, very like, it's just expanding and building upon what you're already working towards, and it's providing more beauty, more fertility, even more color, more joy, more love. And I think like this dynamic is good because it's mutually supportive. It's something that you're both passionate about, and it's something that when you come together, it just sort of the growth potential just like explodes. Like it works so much faster, so much better, it feels easier, things kind of flow. But again, with this Empress card here, I'm being called to pay attention to her. It's like, live within your means, live within your bounds, even if you have to impose them on yourselves, because I feel like if this person is going to be involved in the partnership, like there needs to be a mutual understanding of this is where the resources are going. And we can't deviate too much from this, otherwise this entire plan is not going to work. So drawing upon these past experiences that Temperance is calling towards, because I feel like whatever that process that Temperance is standing in for has taught you the value of being very careful and cautious and diligent and deliberate with your choices and your movements. So bringing that into the present as a way to kind of moderate the potential excesses or extremes that the Empress represents. For your hopes and fears, we have the Ten of Swords. I mean, that's kind of a given. I think most of us are afraid of feeling like this, feeling like all of our efforts have been wasted, we're exhausted, we've been stabbed in the back, nothing is working out, we just have so much anxiety, and there's just no more opportunity for forward momentum. I mean, it makes sense with all this potential energy that you're working with and creating. It makes sense that the Ten of Swords would kind of step in and be like, oh, hey, but I'm still here. Like, I'm all the things that you don't want to be thinking about, all the fears that you have, the fear of failure, the fear of having to start over all over again with nothing, losing everything and having to resurface, having to work. But I feel like if that were the case, it's like, would you just give up? Like, if you lost everything now, would you just give up? Or would you start again? Because I think the vision that you have is worth pursuing no matter what obstacle comes in. And maybe this hopes and fears card is kind of presenting a scenario for you. Like, if this happened, would you still be working towards this thing? Does it mean that much to you? And I think if the answer is yes, then keep going. Push past the mental barriers, the mental blocks that may be creeping up in your vicinity. Hopefully that makes sense. And then for our final outcome, we have the Justice card, Libra. I'm hearing your efforts yield equal rewards. Like, if you've been working super hard at something, you've been working really hard with this particular job or project or business, like, you're going to receive a manifestation of the harvest that effort yields and it's going to be equivalent. Like, it's not going to be like you put all this effort into something and you finally put it out there and then the response is like, meh. It's like, no, you put all this effort into something, you put it out into the world, and the response is exactly, the same as what you put into it. All the love and the care and the attention and the time and the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into manifesting this thing, it's like it's received with equivalent response. With people adore it as much as you did. They love it as much as you did. They pounce on it and but this can also be like a reminder that whatever you put out there is going to come back to you. So if you put something out haphazardly, unfinished, half-assed, sorry for my bad language, but if that's the case, like, what you get back is going to reflect and mirror that right back to you. So I think if you're taking the time to perfect something before it's released, before it's presented, you're going to see the equivalent response. I keep reiterating the same words, but hopefully I'm drilling that point home. And I keep looking over at her. I feel like she's got something else to say. Lady Justice. She also represents like a higher octave of Venus. Venus is domicile lord of Libra, in addition to Taurus, which I always think of the Empress as more representative of like her Taurus aspect, more sensual, more even indulgent. But Justice is like the social manifestation, the mercantile manifestation of everything that Venus is. It's balance in exchange, balance in relationship, balance in business. It's being in the black rather than in the red. potentially even in the green, like, but it's this equivalent exchange. I'm thinking of Full Metal Alchemist as I'm saying that, of course, but this very weird. I'm like, my mind is going to like the scales, and I'm getting really fixated on like the brass metal. Like, it's very brassy. I don't know what that means. Maybe just like a representative of like prosperity. But it's like well earned. It's not like you cheated your way towards achieving this outcome. Yeah, so long story short, like, keep hanging in there, keep working the crops, keep working the project, keep putting your effort towards whatever this is, this vision that you've been cultivating. And if the opportunity to form a partnership with somebody who broadens the perspectives, broadens the horizons in some way, like, be open to it, be open to considering it. Because I feel like whoever this Page of Cups is standing in for, because I do feel like it's potentially a person, is somebody that you should be open to, even if their ideas for things differ slightly in some way from yours. I feel like the core of the vision is shared. Like, they may have slightly different ideas about the colors the walls should be, so to speak, but they want the same walls that you do. Hopefully that makes sense. They want the same structure that you do, even if the embellishments differ further into the vision. But I feel like it'll be a mutually supportive partnership. And yeah, I'm really curious to know like what it is that you're working towards. I feel like it's something really, really good, really nourishing to the soul of not only yourself, but the community that you're going to be interacting with. And push past the opposition, whether it's external or internal. I'm looking at this card thinking of the external obstacles, and then this is more like the internal. Like, I feel like this is worthwhile, and you have the means to achieve it, so keep at it. All right? So, wishing you the best, Sagittarius. I have been letting everybody know that I am going to be maintaining a monthly reading schedule for the 12 zodiac signs. But this particular round of readings that I'm doing right now is actually part of an experiment to do bi-weekly readings, but it kind of got thwarted just by some happenstances. So expect to see the next month's readings out shortly. I'm going to be working on those as soon as I finish this round of readings. So wishing you the best. Let me know if this resonated, and let me know what you've been working on if this in fact did resonate, and let me know how it's kind of reflecting the process back to you, because I think it's super interesting how the tarot acts as this mirror for us, and reflecting our present, past, and future occurrences sometimes so perfectly. It's really fascinating. So yeah, wishing you the best, Sagittarius. I'll keep rambling, but take care of yourselves, okay?